Okay, I actually got to do that again. That was way too long. It was like 19 minutes. All right, so I hate this topic, man. I hate this. On the topic of the cults, okay, that interfered in my life. Let's see if I can abbreviate this somehow. Okay, I when I came out here and met, lots of different Christian pastors and stuff, and I would ask some of them to intercede for me and my daughters, because of this cult interference in our lives, and you know, and they would ask me, well, who are they? Who's this cult? What are they called? Because they would assume it's just the Mormons in general, but not every member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints belongs to these secret societies. I didn't. I never agreed to it, and I can read their scriptures and I can read the personal writings that we have from Joseph Smith and see how he viewed the purpose of the church and how he interpreted the law of consecration and stuff. And I can tell you that if he was alive today, he would rebuke them for what they did to me and my daughters. I can say very obviously that what they did was a perversion of the wholesome principles in their scriptures. So it's not the Mormons specifically, like all, but quite a lot of them were involved with these secret societies and proliferated it into other groups, unfortunately. So what do I call them? This is kind of weird, but when I was in Idaho, I learned what they called me. Their nickname for me was the Eye. Okay. So because they called me that, I call them the Eye Cult. Right back at you. Now, I don't know what they call themselves. I've never been to their secret meetings. I've never entered into their secret combinations or agreements. And so I don't know what they call themselves. I don't know how they identify each other. I know a little bit about their tactics because they made my life hell. I mean, if it's no exaggeration that my life, I've had 12 years of hell, really. My existence is really miserable. This is a terrible way to live, and it's horrible. But yeah, I mean, they really do. They treat me like oh gosh, I need to just. Okay. Okay. Hold on. Okay. So that's what I call them, just in general. And I have made it very, very repeatedly clear that I denounce their activities, their behaviors, and the rationale by which they seek to excuse it all. And it is inhumane, it is ungodly, it is unconstitutional, it is wrong. There's these derivatives of it though. So, just like cultures have subcultures, right? And just like hierarchies have chains of command. So, there's the public daddy cult which is very unnatural, very unhealthy, very irrational, bad idea, very bad idea. How can a guy who with no home and no wife be the shared daddy of thousands of kids he's never met and is not allowed to play with or pray with, and supposedly be mystically married to their mothers who are having sex with other men and stealing my money, making money off me through a way that exploits me against my will, and then it's crazy, so it's very bad. We never made vows to each other. We never enjoy conjugal rights. We never enjoy like labors of love. It's not a family. It's not a family. you they don't. Anyway, next, the god makers and king makers. That stuff's been around for centuries, unfortunately. King makers go way, way back in our planet. I consider them to be a very, very bad idea. Kingmaker cults are very arrogant, and they play games with people's lives, and they think that they're steering the future. But I would encourage them to do away with that. I don't think it's a good idea, and I don't want to be part of it. Okay. God makers are just transhumanists, basically. Maybe back in the day it used to be occult stuff, but nowadays it's more like technological sorcery. Look, it's a bad idea. I don't believe in it. Okay, leave me out of it. Using this sick, twisted, like Game of Thrones. I mean, they got people hurt pretty bad, and I don't believe that you can torture someone into holiness, and I don't believe that you can, experiment on someone until you've turned them into some sort of demigod. That you're doing a really perverse thing and very inhumane thing. So just leave me out of it. I want no part of it. The whipping boy cult, as I call it, though, is probably by far the worst. And it is a really twisted variation on Christianity, in a brazen mockery of this, this idea that Jesus willingly suffered on behalf of our sorrows and sins. And so what they do is they basically find ways to inflict torment and loss upon me so that I have to suffer other people's misery. They inflict their misery, their injustices, their agendas, their guilt on me. And it's almost like porn to them. They get entertainment out of it. They get some sort of rush, some sort of inspiration. Yeah, right. You want inspiration, read the scriptures and live by good principles and pray. Okay? Don't torture somebody for inspiration. Hello. Like, how depraved and delusional do these people have to be to do this? It isn't good, and I don't practice magic or anything like that. Did I cover that already? I think I did. Like, if I had that kind of power, I would have walked right out of the walls when they threw me in jail. I would have just left. So obviously I don't have that kind of power. So, you can't, what you're doing to me is inhumane. I'm still alive, miraculously. I've had some close calls where I was, like, my heart's, and also a few times when I almost froze to death. But, as far as I know, I've never suffered actual clinical, like, brain death, complete cessation of electrical and metabolic processes. I don't think that's happened to me. Had some really, really weird close calls, though. And interesting, it's, I'm absolutely convinced that there is continuation of our consciousness after these meat sacks die. And so our choices matter. So you people need to stop this. You will regret it. Okay? You will regret it. You will suffer. So you need to stop. You need to stop. For your own selves too, not just for me, not just for my daughters, but for your own sakes. And and the thing is, I denounce what they're doing in the name of God, in the name of truth, in the name of love, in the name of the human dignity, in the name of the Bill of Rights. I have warned these people that they're destroying their own souls. So, you can see, obviously they're irrational because they think that somehow it's a good idea and they're going to get away with it. But it's not a good idea and they're not going to get away with it. So, anyway, that's kind of a basic rundown. And I think it's obviously an unhealthy, unnatural, unwholesome, unjust thing that's going on, and I want it to stop. And I do give God thanks and glory for the fact that I'm still alive, and still capable of loving people, and still capable of rational thought, and still making music, man. So, but you can't turn me into your public property. You don't own me. You're not my gods. I will not obey you. You do not have ownership of my life, of my voice, of my mind, of my seed. You don't own me. And I think I have mentioned that both civil and ecclesiastical authorities, unfortunately, have participated in these things, and so have tech companies. I tell you, man, there's a thing called crimes against humanity. You people better wise up. Okay, your digital utopias. You cannot use this greater good idea for sacrificing human beings and get away with it. That has never gone well for any civilization. Don't do it. Leave me out of that. Okay. I don't want to be Paris. I don't want your machines parasitizing. I don't know how to say that word. Look at you mechanical parasites, man. You go suck someone else's blood. Someone who volunteers. I didn't volunteer. I don't agree to it. So, or just do it to yourselves. Here's the funny thing, if any of these people actually really believed in what they were doing to me, if they actually really believed it was good and it was, from God, they would have volunteered themselves, but they don't. So anyway, I don't want it for my life. Okay. I want to make music. I want to be paid for it. I want to marry a female and have sex and, have a son. And I'm happy doing community programs and serving people and loving people. It comes naturally to me. Again, praise God, because there's plenty of reasons not to like people. But anyway, and I want to travel, and I need to own some land so I can grow plants. It's good for me. It's really good for me. It's a garden, but I need to have my own place so that I can actually do long-term planning and, make something that's going to be fruitful, and I need to have a home. What are you people doing? I'm not a socialist. I don't believe in it. That's another thing. Oh my gosh. That's another episode. Okay, did I cover this? Did I cover the culty stuff? To the best of my ability, yeah. I don't know how else to make it clear, because remember, I'm not a part of these groups. They decided to select me as one of their, and I don't know how many other victims they have, and that's another scary thing. This is why I have asked authority figures to stop this. And they dropped the ball. Politicians, law enforcement, ecclesiastical hierarchies, you dropped the ball. Tech companies with your supposed ethics and policies and basically superpowers. Maybe not really, but your vast resources. You dropped the ball, okay? And you've been negligent. All right, this is getting too long. I'm going to stop this one.